Today, we dive into one of the Bible's most pivotal moments, the fall of man. Genesis 3 marks the moment when humanity, once in perfect harmony with God, made a choice that would forever change their world. But what does this story really mean for us today? Let's explore. In Genesis chapters 1 and 2, God creates a perfect world. He places Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, a paradise where they live in harmony with God and all of creation. They are given free will, allowed to enjoy the beauty around them and care for the garden. But God places one restriction on them. They must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. This tree represents the choice between obeying God and choosing their own way. Everything seems perfect, but in Genesis 3, everything changes. Enter the serpent, more cunning than any creature God made. The serpent begins with a simple question that plants the seed of doubt in Eve's mind.
Did God really say you shall not eat from any tree in the garden?
We may eat the fruit of the trees in the garden, but of the fruit of the tree in the middle of the garden, God has said, "You shall not eat it, nor shall you touch it, lest you die."
You will not surely die, for God knows that when you eat of it your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil.
Where are you?
The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate.
Adam blames Eve, but ultimately, both are guilty. They've both chosen to trust their own desires over God's wisdom. And now, they face the consequences. God pronounces the curse. First, he speaks to the serpent, saying that it will be cursed above all animals, destined to crawl on its belly. But more importantly, he declares enmity between the serpent and the woman, between their offspring. This is the first promise of redemption, a foreshadowing of the victory over evil. To Eve, God says there will be pain in childbirth, and her relationship with Adam will be marked by conflict. Her desire will be for him, and he will rule over her. To Adam, God pronounces that the ground will be cursed, and he will toil for his food. The harmonious world God created is now broken. Death enters the world. Death enters the world the same. And so Adam and Eve are exiled from the garden. But even in judgment, God shows mercy. God shows mercy. God provides them with garments of skin, clothing them with care. Though they are exiled, God's grace is still present. This is the first sign of God's plan to redeem his fallen creation. The fall of man is not the end of the story. Even in the aftermath of sin, God begins his plan of redemption, a plan that would one day culminate in the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, who would conquer sin and death. Through the fall, sin entered the world, but through Christ, salvation is offered to all who believe. What began in the garden would one day be reversed at the cross.